Dear God. Oh dear God. Hi. Hey. Hello. Greetings. A while back, my good friend Carly, she's actually not a good friend, we just follow each other on Instagram and occasionally DM, but I wish we were good friends because I think she's fucking cool. So, we're just gonna say she's a good friend and manifest that shit. She posted a video a while back about like different book recommendations based off of your aesthetic, and it put a little bug in my brain. It gave me a little idea to do something somewhat similar and to give you book recommendations based off of your coffee order. I am a coffee addict, so I feel like I am qualified to give you some solid book recommendations based off of your coffee order. So I have my list here. I have my books here. And we're just gonna get started. Now that my books are scattered along the floor and not in an organized stack like they were before, let's start with what I refer to as the basic bitch TikTok drink, and that is the iced white mocha with sweet cream cold foam and caramel drizzle. I feel like people who drink this are like basic bitches, but also like I'm not like other girls, if you get what I mean. So I have a few recs. First off, the biggest 2014 Tumblr I'm Not Like Any Other Girls book, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Obviously this was my favorite book in 8th grade. I feel like if you drink that drink, you're a sucker for John Green. I'm recommending you John Green. If you want to go the non-YA route and go the like adult literary fiction route, Sally Rooney all the way. So there's that. And then the other book that I have a rec for you is The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin. And that's because this book seemed so simple and fun and almost like it was going to be a thriller, but actually it was really sad. And I feel like people who drink the iced white mocha with sweet cream cold foam and extra caramel drizzle puts out a front that they're all good, but is actually pretty sad. And that's what this book is to me. So, I feel like y'all should read this book, but beware, it made me cry 4 separate times. These next few recs are not coffee drinks, but they're drinks that you can get at a coffee shop, so I'm counting them anyways. So first we have hot chocolate. I feel like if you're a hot chocolate drinker, you're either a kid or you have the spirit of a child still. So I have 2 recs for you. They're both YA, but also like they're both objectively good books in my opinion. Both of them I feel like have the vibes of hot chocolate, and I don't know how to explain that, so I'm just gonna say that they have the vibes of hot chocolate. The first one is The Haunting of Sunshine Girl. This is a young adult horror. I read this in like 7th grade, so I don't fully remember exactly what it's about, but it's basically about like this girl moves into a haunted house, and that's the book. I remember being obsessed with this book. I want to reread it soon actually, but I feel like if you like hot chocolate and you want a little like a bit of a spooky read but not too much of a spooky read, this is the book for you. And then I have like a classic YA novel, but I also just feel like it's a classic novel period, and I feel like hot chocolate is a classic drink period, so it makes sense in my brain. I would also read this book while drinking hot chocolate, and that is The Giver by Lois Lowry. If you don't know what this is about, it's like a dystopian novel about like this community that like is very fit and like straight lined and very orderly, and they have like one member of the community who has like all of the memories and the feelings, and the main character is in training to be the person that gets all these memories and finds out everything that's wrong with the society and yada yada yada. It's such a good book, and I think everybody should read this, but especially if you're a hot chocolate drinker or just whatever and you haven't read this book, please read it. Please, for the love of God, read The Giver if you haven't already. That's all I've got to say. Next we have the chai tea latte drinkers, and I feel like you are one step below the TikTok drink, where you are like still basic, but you also have a little more depth to you. Like maybe you're like a businesswoman, or like you're artsy, or you're like an old soul. Like, that's the kind of vibe that I get from chai tea drinkers. I'm also a chai tea latte connoisseur, so I'm speaking to myself here. These books that I'm recommending you, I have no justification for them. No reasoning as to why I think this applies to a chai tea latte drinker. It just makes sense in my head. The first one is Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This one is about a guy who was hired to like read work emails and like monitor work emails, and as he's reading these emails, he ends up falling in love with like one of the people that he's reading their emails. It just seems like one of those books that a chai tea lover would enjoy. So that's that. The next book is Where the Crawdads Sing. I don't have a reasoning for this. I feel like everybody has read this book already, so I'm not even gonna like say much about it. It just makes sense in my head. And if you haven't read this yet, please do. Please do. And that's all I'm gonna say. Next we got the matcha hoes. I used to be a matcha hoe. I'm not anymore. I still like a good matcha, just not as much as I used to. I feel like if you're a matcha drinker, you're very much like in touch with yourself and in touch with the world and the universe and with your soul. You're very much like self-helpy. Get the vibe? So I have two books for you. The first one is The Alchemist. I haven't read this book, admittedly. I haven't read this book. But every YouTuber that's like self-helpy, that drinks matcha on the reg, if they ever make a video that's like, these books changed my life, this book is always on that list. This book and Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. I have read that book. That book is amazing. Please go read it, especially if you're a matcha drinker. Like that's an additional rec. But The Alchemist is also on that list, and apparently this book is like life-changing. I should probably give it a read sometime here soon. But yeah, read The Alchemist and Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. Alright, next we have the cold brew drinkers. And when I say this, I'm talking to the women-loving women. Because it just makes sense. Iced coffee is for like the girls, the gays, and theys. But cold brew I feel like is more specifically for women-loving women. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's just because I drink cold brew. Anyways, I have two recs for you. The first one is Girl, Woman, Other. It's basically about the portrayal of like intersections of like identity. It's about like a group of like black British women, and there's like, I don't know, it doesn't really have a specific plot, which is why I'm finding it hard to describe, but it's basically like the lives of these four black British women. One of them is actually non-binary, one of them. Anyways, I just feel like if you're a woman-loving woman, or just like a girl, gay, or they, you need to read this book. The next one is one that I've never seen anybody talk about on BookTube, and that's Protect and Defend by Richard North Patterson. It's about like the Supreme Court decisions regarding like abortions from like both like a legal perspective and then from a perspective of a 15-year-old girl who needs an abortion. This book like really opened my eyes, and I feel like if you're a women-loving woman, you're also like very big into feminism and like pro-choice, and I feel like you would really like this book. That's all I'm gonna say. She's a big one, but yes. Alright, now I'm gonna get into the iced coffee recs. So this is for the girls, gays, and nays, the alphabet mafia, whatever you want to be referred to as. The book I'm recommending to you is Big Little Lies. The reason why I'm recommending this book to you is because it is so full of drama. Us girls, gays, and nays love spilling the tea. So I feel like y'all would just love this book. It's like suburban, small town, PTA, mom group drama, and then you throw a murder mystery in there, and it's just so good. It's funny, it's full of drama, it's emotional at times. This is just a really good book, and if you're any form of queer, I feel like you'll enjoy this. Alright, last. If you just drink straight espresso, may I recommend The Parisian by Isabella Hamad. Why? Because you're either French or you want to be French. And I am speaking from personal experience. I haven't actually read this book yet. I started. I didn't get very far. And that's not because it wasn't good. It's just because I had to like move on to other things. But it's about like this guy who's like returning from France during World War I and like going back to Palestine, and like anyways, it's about life and romance and war and whatever. If you drink espresso, I feel like this is probably the book for you. because it's about French people and it makes sense. Those are my book recommendations based off of your coffee order. If you didn't agree with me on what I said, I'm sorry. If I offended you in any way based off of your coffee order, I'm also sorry. I have to say that I am all of these personalities in coffee orders, so there's really no shade here. I just thought this was a fun video idea. Anyways, that was the video. Thank you for clicking on this video and watching my dumb face. I hope to see you back here again soon.